Hey guys, what is going on? Lego Man 123 and welcome back to another video. Okay, I'll be reviewing the Lego Harry Potter Attack on the Burrow set 75980. So starting off with the minifigs, we have Harry Potter, and what I find really disappointing about this minifig is this is his exact same version from the set what was supposed to represent the Order of the Phoenix, but in this set it's supposed to actually represent the Half-Blood Prince, so it's really strange how we're getting the exact same minifig where like they're both different movies. I just think we could have got a really awesome minifig if it was quite accurate to the Half-Blood Prince, but apart from that, it's great to get another version of Harry like that. Then we have Ron Weasley, and I believe this minifig might be exclusive to this set, but I'm not 100% sure. I just really love his sort of red sweater that he does wear, and we really don't get to see him too much in like the Attack on Burrow set, so it's definitely great to actually get a minifig like that. Then we have Genie Weasley, and I really like this variant of her because we really don't get too many versions of Genie Weasley like grown up in like the later editions of the movies, and I think it's a really nice version of her. I really like the hairpiece that they do use, and I think this is her hairpiece they use for Ginny for like most of the sets, and I also really like her torso. Very simple designing, like that really nice sort of green color, but I think it definitely does work. But I think to actually make the minifig more accurate, they could have done her in like her pajamas to actually fit with the scene, because during the attack on Burrow, she actually does have pajamas on. But apart from that, the next minifig is Arthur Weasley, and I really love the detailing on his torso with like this sort of patched up suit with like all different colors on the back, and I think it's very accurate to like what the Weasley family is, and I just really love the look of Arthur, and I believe he is exclusive to this set. Then we have Molly Weasley, and she does appear in the Diagon Alley set, which was like the really big one. So I'm not too sure if she actually does have any exclusive pieces on her, but I'm really glad to actually have her in this set because I definitely think she looks really awesome with like the detailing on her torso. But I just wish we had some like dress prints, because we have seen that in the past with, I believe, Professor Dumbledore and Professor Trelawney in the Lego Harry Potter CMF Series 1. But apart from that, I think the hairpiece looks really interesting, and it actually does fit her quite nicely. And her wand just popped out. Then we have, I'm probably going to fail this name, Nymphadora Tonks, and I find out a really interesting variant of her because I don't think we've gotten her in any sets before, so that is quite disappointing because I definitely think she's a really awesome character, and it would be really cool to actually see like her sort of duck nose she pulls off in the Order of the Phoenix, and I think that could be quite funny with like her pink hair and all that. But I think she looks really cool with the detailing on her torso, back and front, with like all the different sort of patterns she does have, and the hairpiece very simple, but I think it does work for her as this variant. But I just wish she had some like leg printing. I definitely think they could have done that. Then we have another exclusive minifig, which is Fenric Greyback, and I'm really excited to actually have this minifig because I definitely think he's a really awesome Death Eater in the Harry Potter universe, and I really love the detailing on both his torso and legs with that sort of continue that sort of coat. I definitely think that is really cool, and then on the back some very simple detailing, but I really love his facial expression with like all the different detailing on it, and he does actually have two, which is definitely really cool. Then the final minifig for this set is Bellatrix Lestrange, and she does appear in the Lego Harry Potter CMF Series 2 in like her sort of Azkaban sort of look, and I definitely think she is a really awesome minifig. I especially love this really unique hairpiece that she does have. I really like the style of it, and I definitely think it's very unique to Bellatrix Lestrange's character. But just like Molly Weasley, I just wish there was some printing on the sort of dress piece, because we have seen that in the past, and I think it would have made this minifig a lot more interesting. But apart from that, I really love the detailing on her torso with like all the different sort of patterns on there and all that, with like all the different ribs, and they've been like sewed up. I definitely think that is really awesome. So now we'll move on to the build, but before we actually move on to the Burrow, there is a very small build included in this set, and I think it matches perfectly with the scene that this is supposed to capture, which is the attack on the Burrow when Bellatrix Lestrange and Fenric Greyback actually do attack the Burrow, and they actually leave this sort of circle of fire. But I think it's definitely a really nice inclusion. Very simple, but it just adds so much more to the set, and these 5 pieces definitely do look really awesome with like the sort of translucent orange and then like this sort of translucent black color, I believe. But I definitely think it's a very simple but accurate inclusion to actually capture the attack on the Burrow. So now moving on to the main piece for the set, we of course have the Burrow, where the Weasley family do live, and occasionally Harry and Hermione do camp out there. But what I really love about this set is instead of just capturing the Half-Blood Prince, which this is mostly supposed to be about, I really love how it also does capture the Chamber of Secrets when Harry first goes to the Burrow. I'll start with the front and then I'll slowly work my way around and then I'll also go up. So starting off, we have like this section here and I really like the look of it. I really love the overall color scheme for it, and especially the roof of like all the different colors to actually capture like the look of the Burrow, and that also does continue around and then up. But I really love this section down here with the pig because that's actually my first pig ever in any Lego set, and I definitely think it is a very fun and just a great inclusion. So I'm definitely excited to actually have a Lego pig in my collection. And what I found really interesting about the set was that like these parts here were all stickers, which was definitely quite shocking. But I think they add so much more to the set. But I just wish they were prints because they were actually quite hard to actually put on and actually align with one another. But I definitely think it adds so much more with like the design for the stickers. And then you can actually open this part up. You just have to very carefully do it because it's actually like attached to a very quite interesting idea with like that piece there, and then a 1x1 brick with like the stud poking out. So I definitely think that is really interesting. And inside you have like the lounge room area or the living room for the Weasley family, and I definitely think it's a very simple but just looks really awesome. I really love just all the small details they have included, especially the fireplace, which I believe is an Easter egg to the Chamber of Secrets. And there's actually a really fun play feature which actually uses this Technic part here, and it's actually around the back here. So you just very simply do that, and it does reveal like the green fire when Harry and like the rest of the Weasley family actually go to Diagon Alley, and I think that's a really fun and interesting play feature. But I just wish there was a way to actually have the Minifigs standing in the fireplace and like they disappear with the fire. So like they're standing in with like the orange fire, and then it turns around and it's green with the Minifig gone. But it would have made the fireplace a lot more challenging to actually make that fun play feature, and then also to actually build a big enough fireplace for like all the Minifigs to fit, like depending on their size. So I'm definitely glad they had this simple play feature here, and there's just some like firewood here, and there's also to actually hide some of it. There's actually like a bookshelf on the other side, which I definitely think is a very fun inclusion, and just a small sort of desk here. And then turning it around, we have like the entrance to the Burrow here, and I really love like the entry to it with like the sort of archway they have created there, and I definitely think that is really cool. And then also some more stickers here, but I just wish they were prints. And then turning it around, you do have like the kitchen slash dining area for the Burrow, and I really love how you can actually open these up and like really get in there with the minifigs, and I find that such a really interesting feature. So this is supposed to capture the dining and the kitchen area in the Burrow, and I really love how they've been able to actually combine the dining room and kitchen in like the one sort of area. And I think with the amount of detail included, it just looks really awesome. I especially love the egg prints with like the waffle prints on the table, and I just think it looks really awesome. It just adds so much more to the set. I also really love just how simple like the kitchen area does look, with like a sink, just like a few bottles, and like a teapot. I was about to say kettle. Just adds so much more to the set, and it just makes it look really awesome with the amount of detail, with the simple features they have included. and then you can actually move this as well to actually reveal just a bit more of like the sort of living room area with like another couch. And I really love the design for the clock, which I believe is supposed to capture like the clock we do see in the Chamber of Secrets. It's also a really interesting design with a great color scheme, but they are actually all stickers, which I was really surprised to actually see, especially on the 1x2 brick. And then you can actually see the bookshelf there with like a bunch of different books in there, which I think looks really awesome. And then turning it around, and here is the play feature for the fireplace inside the house, and you just very simply turn that, and I find it a really interesting and also a fun play feature because it just adds so much more to like the realism of this set. But what I really like about the Pacific location for this piece is that it's quite hidden on like Pacific angles, and I just find that great because it actually hides the magic, no pun intended, for like the fireplace. But I just wish they found a way to actually hide the technical of it inside the house to sort of hide the sort of technic elements for the fireplace, because it just would add so much more to the set. But apart from that, turning it back around on this side, we actually move up to the second floor. On the second floor, you do have Ginny's room, and then also the continuation of the roof, and then also the fireplace with like the brickwork there. On the second floor, you do have, as I said, Ginny's room, and I find it a really interesting inclusion, but there's just so many stickers included in her room where they could have just very easily been prints, especially for like the small ones, because as you can see, there's like a print for the mirror, which I just wish they use like the actual like sticker for like a mirror where like you can actually see through, because I have seen that before. Then you have her bed as a stick, and I find that a really interesting color scheme. And then you have a sticker which is actually quite hard to see. It might be better if I actually take off that. There's a sticker for like the Weird Sisters, which I think was the band in the Goblet of Fire during like the Yule Ball, but I might be very mistaken there. And then as you can see with like the angle here, that's actually how they made the sort of Burrow look as accurate as it did. And I find it a really interesting and also a quite sort of complex idea, because I was actually questioning how they managed to do that with like the studs showing in like the angle of it when I originally saw this set. Because now on the second floor, you do have Mr. and Mrs. Weasley's like sort of bedroom area, and I really love the inclusion of like the couch with like the sort of knitting materials. And what I found like really interesting was to actually make those sort of knitting pieces you use. They actually use the wand pieces in the Lego Harry Potter universe, and I find that like a really great part use, because that is such a great idea to actually use those parts for knitting. And she, I believe, is knitting some sort of scarf maybe, which is also a sticker, which I just find really disappointing, because there were so many stickers in this set where they could have just very easily turned them into prints. And then the bed design, I must say, is actually a really interesting color scheme. I definitely think that looks really awesome. And then moving on to, I believe, Ron's room, which is on the third floor. Very interesting, but also a very simple design. I just wish they maybe added a few more studs in like his room so they could actually include a few other things, because there's really nothing apart from like a bed and then also a poster. I just wish they maybe added a few more studs so they can include just as much as they did for Ginny's room. And then up the top here, you do have like this sort of balcony area, I believe. And then you do have this very small section for, I believe, is some sort of attic maybe, or just like an area for like the owls to sort of hang out at the Burrow. And I find that such a great inclusion, because instead of just having like Hedwig on the side, they actually found a way to actually include both the owls in the set instead of just like having them off the side and not really worrying about them. And as you can see, the chimney also does continue up here, and I find that such a great sort of way to actually combine something from the very bottom level all the way up, and it just adds so much more to like the realism of the set. But turning this back around, I also really love how there's a lot of windows included, because it is so accurate to like what you see in the movies with like all the different windows, the angle of the Burrow, just the overall look with like the color scheme of the Burrow. And I find that such a great feature with like all the different windows, the color scheme, and also like this sort of very small balcony here. So now let's take a look at the packaging for this set. So starting off with the manual, I believe it does have an advertisement for the other Lego Harry Potter sets that you could get in this wave. And yes, here are the other sets, and luckily enough, I actually do have all of them, which is definitely really exciting and also pretty awesome. Now taking a look at the box for this set, I really love the box out with like the fire showing. I just gotta move the Burrow out of the way because it actually is a pretty big box, and I think it is definitely really accurate to like what this set is capturing with like the attack on the Burrow of like Bellatrix sort of flying away. And then it also does show like what's included on the inside, on the front of the box, which I definitely think is really helpful. And then on the back, it does show you like the play feature for the, it is a bit hard to see, for like the fireplace, and then just some of like the other features included. And then like what's also in sort of each section of the Burrow there. But apart from that, I would definitely recommend this set because it is definitely such an accurate depiction of the Burrow, and what I love especially about this set is that they've been able to actually combine not just like one room, but a number of rooms in like a sort of full story building of the Burrow, and that's what I love so much about this set, and just the overall detail included with each of the rooms, like the amount of stickers included where they could have very easily been prints, add so much more to like the set. Then the overall color scheme for the set is so accurate. I really love just the amount of different colors they've actually used to actually create that Pacific look of the bar, especially with like the roof design there. I definitely think it looks so accurate, as well as just the different color scheme for like each of the rooms to sort of capture the personality of that person. And then also on the sort of outside, it also does capture a lot of detail and features. But apart from that, I would definitely recommend this set because, as I said, it's such an accurate depiction of the Burrow, and the minifig selection is definitely pretty awesome. But there are a few things I would fix up for the minifigs, especially accurate versions of Harry and a bit more of an accurate version for Ginny. But apart from that, I would definitely love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. And as always, guys, hope you guys did enjoy this video, and can you subscribe? Bye!